Before I get away with myself and start talking about products, I'll begin by sharing a problem which I committed myself to solving, the solution I came up with, and the story behind it. Within the story are five key tips which I'd love for everyone to take away when thinking about starting something from scratch, whether it be a business, a fashion line, literally anything. Okay, thank you. So in the early 2000s, a phenomenon started in America. Black and mixed race women were saying no to chemically relaxing their hair. They were no longer wearing their hair in straightened styles, but they were embracing their natural kinks and curls. The movement had gone viral. Before long, the hashtag #TeamNatural had been shared over 6 million times globally. However, there was a problem. Mainstream media and retailers weren't picking it up. We couldn't go into stores and buy the products which worked for us, so we had to find them online. And even if they were available in store, they came at quite a hefty price tag, with most products costing over £10 each. So I came up with a solution called Tress. Tress is essentially a product discovery box. For £20 a month, we help women with naturally kinky, curly hair find products which work for them. We essentially help them define what's hot and what's not on the market and what works for their hair. We create 3 boxes every single month, one for adults, one for teenagers, and one for kids. This leads me to tip number 1, create the things you wish existed. My interest in the natural hair movement started way before it had gone globally. From a really young age, I'd been really interested in doing the hair of friends and family for a cheeky £5 pocket money. Finding products, however, and seeking advice was a real problem for the women I knew, and they were always coming to me for advice. So I decided to use this and decided that if I found it a problem, 10 women I knew found it a problem, 100 women I knew found it a problem, then there must be hundreds of thousands of women around the world that were having the same problem. So I've made this sound quite simple. I figured out the problem, I found a solution, and I provided a service, but that's not really how it went at all. As I said, I started off at a really young age loving hair, but I noticed one thing. As we grow up, we tend to abandon our childhood dreams. There's things that we're passionate about as kids, but when there's not a clear career path which directly mirrors our passion, we often abandon our dreams to follow what society has told us is successful. So growing up for me, I was socialized to believe that success was a good corporate job, a big house, a nice car, and lots of traveling. Notice that not once in that definition did I mention anything about happiness. Taking the definition of success really literally, I went to university in Birmingham and studied business and international relations. Within 5 months of university, I lost one of my best friends. She committed suicide. Why? We don't really know, but we do understand that she was really unhappy, depressed, and anxious. At that point, it was really a defining moment in my life. I made the decision that never would I put anything before happiness and rich experiences in life. Which leads me to tip number 2. All you have to do is decide. I've learned that everything in life is literally a decision. Even indecision is a decision within itself. My decision was to live a purposeful life, a happy life, which led me to have rich experiences. While all of my peers were applying for Big 4 consultancy firms at university, I decided that I wanted to travel, and I wanted to get as much experience in as many industries as possible. So I went to Uganda for a month and helped the most happy people I've ever met on earth, and we built a school. Then I went to Beijing for a month, and I'd done travel marketing. I had no interest at all, but I just wanted to go to China, and it seemed cool. Then I went to New York for 8 months and done fashion and entertainment PR. Funny enough, during my time in New York, I discovered something online which was growing in popularity, subscription boxes. There was a subscription box for literally everything you can think of. From razors to socks to sweets to hair products to makeup, you name it, America had it. But England, not quite yet. I thought this was a cool concept, but I kind of just left it there and kept on moving. I came back from New York in my placement year with 1 month to spare, and I decided that I would work for a financial services firm because I'd been working for a year for free and I finally needed to earn some money. Before I knew it, I was back at the firm with a first-class degree and I had been selected for the graduate scheme. I thought this was my golden ticket. As far as I was concerned, success meant a well-paid job, traveling, a big house, and a nice car. Before I knew it, I could have secured these. But something just didn't seem right. I didn't feel entirely happy, and I coined this my quarter-life crisis. At 24, I had had enough. I felt exhausted, unfulfilled, and uninspired. But the weird thing was, I was literally on my way to getting everything that I'd ever desired: the car, the house, the family, not quite the husband or the kids. A part of me still wanted to pursue this box idea, but I was still captivated by the prospect of being successful as society deemed it. I chose to compromise, and I thought of a new idea. I thought that I would approach the leaders in my organization and propose that I be the one to lead an international project. After all, that would allow me to travel, and it would allow me to make contacts in America. To my surprise, they said yes, and I was the youngest person to ever run an international project. As soon as I got to New York, I had two priorities. One was to do an amazing job. I was one of 2 Black women selected out of 300 graduates globally. So I had to do a good job for me, but I also needed to represent for the team. And then secondly, I immersed myself in the natural hair industry. Every event, every opportunity, you name it, I was there. Which leads me to tip number 3. Use what you have where you are. I utilized all my resources to launch Tress. I created social media pages because after all, it's free marketing. I created surveys, conducted my own research and read up on research of the spending habits of Black and mixed race women and their interest in hair. I had no real budget for a photo shoot, so I called on my friends and family, and I had them be my models and my friend be the photographer. Thankfully, the images from the photo shoot caught the attention of a brand called Palmer's. They were also into natural hair, and they were moving into the curly hair market. Thankfully, they provided the products for my first box. So me and 2 of my best friends sat in my front room, and overnight we packed these boxes, shoved them into the boot of my car, and then took them to the post office. I rolled up to work a bit late and said that I had a doctor's appointment. I kept this going for about 3 months, and then it became a bit obvious that something was going on. That leads me to tip number 4. Ask for help, find a mentor, but help yourself first. So it got to the point where I had launched my business on Instagram, literally just by posting the photos from the photo shoot, which I think should be next. Yeah, by launching the photos from the photo shoot. It got lots of attention and we got our initial customers. Before long, there were women internationally who were signing up to the box, and I just couldn't handle working both a full-time job and packing these boxes and getting them out in time. So I decided that in order to take my business to the next level, I needed to contact someone outside of what is deemed my urban tribe. So I couldn't rely on friends and family anymore. I had to reach further than this. I recalled a conversation that I had with a guy in an airport when I was in New York. We literally got talking about a watch I was wearing. Before long, I discovered that he himself made products. We had stayed in contact this whole time, and he turned into a mentor for me. The second lady, I was a lot more strategic about. I saw her on social media, I set up notifications about where she was, and everywhere she was, I was in the front row. If she was doing a talk, I was asking questions every single time, even if I knew the answer. It got to the point where she couldn't ignore me, and she eventually said, "Are you stalking me?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am. My name's Jamelia, I own Tress, I need help." One thing that I would definitely say is that when you're going for mentorship, know who you're going after and know what you want from them, but also be prepared to tell them what you've already done. We can't rely on mentors to pave the golden walk for us. We have to actually do the work and follow up with the work that they tell us to do. Which leads me to tip number 5, create your own lane and definition of success. As I said really early on, when I started out, success for me was a big house, a nice car, a corporate job, and lots of traveling. Over time, this has completely changed for me. Although those things are still very important to me, I recently had an aha moment where I realized that I actually was on the right path for success. My brother's girlfriend was giving my niece a bath, and she said to her, "How do you want your hair? I'm going to do it in bunches or I'm going to do it in braids." And she was like, "No, I want it out and big and messy like Auntie Jam." My hair's not messy, but she's 2, so I guess that's the only word she had. But it just really touched me that at such a young age, she was confident to wear her natural hair. Because for me at that age, beauty was a Barbie doll, which did not look anything like me and wasn't an attainable beauty standard for me. Ultimately, success for me is redefining what Black beauty means. Little girls shouldn't grow up in a world where they don't see themselves reflected. Women shouldn't be going into stores and being unable to buy hair products. And at the age of 20, we shouldn't be discovering how beautiful we are naturally. In closing, I'll recap on my 5 tips. 1, create the things you wish existed. 2, all you need to do is decide, what will you stand for, what will your life be about? 3, use what you have. You don't need a big budget at all. Just be creative and make contacts. Tip 4, ask for help, seek mentorship, but make sure you do work before you seek mentorship. Number 5, create your own definition of success. Decide what success means to you and go after it like your life depends on it, because it really does. Thank you very much for listening.